At 0940 hours, 500 feet above the Pacific Ocean, a C-17 Globemaster pilot stares down at his target, a 560-foot submarine that looks like a pencil line in an ocean the size of Russia. He has exactly one shot to hit this moving target with a 50-pound package while flying a 412,000-pound aircraft that handles like a flying building in a windstorm. Missed by 50 meters, and 3 years of planning ends in disaster. Hit the submarine directly, and he's just explained to Congress how he accidentally bombed a $2.1 billion nuclear asset. The margin for error? 0. The time remaining? 30 seconds. This moment began 6 hours earlier at 0530 hours on October 22, 2020. A C-17 Globemaster lifts off from Hickman Air Force Base in Hawaii, carrying what would either revolutionize submarine logistics or prove that some ideas look better on PowerPoint. 4 Pratt & Whitney F-117 PW-100 turbofans push 412,000 pounds of aircraft and experimental cargo into the morning darkness, beginning a mission to find one specific submarine somewhere in an ocean that covers 1/3 of the Earth's surface. The mission seemed straightforward. Fly 800 miles northwest, rendezvous with the USS Henry M. Jackson, drop off supplies, return home. But this was no normal supply run. Their target was a 560-foot submarine that had been drifting submerged for 6 hours, maintaining radio silence while Pacific currents pushed her miles from any predictable position. Finding a black hole in blue water when your search area is roughly the size of Russia? You'd have better luck finding a needle in New York City. As the C-17 approaches the submarine's last known position, its AN/APS-133 maritime search radar begins painting surface contacts out to 250 nautical miles. Watch the radar's operator screen as green blips cascade across the display like digital rain. Each blip represents a potential contact, wave returns, floating debris, marine life, or the submarine they're hunting. Distinguishing a submarine's minimal surface profile from wave returns requires the kind of pattern recognition that comes only from years of experience scanning hostile waters. Navigation over the Pacific also strips away every comfort of continental flying. No VOR stations, no landmarks, no visual references except endless blue that looks exactly the same whether you're 100 miles from Hawaii or 1,000. The flight management computer knows their position to within 30 feet thanks to GPS. But that precision becomes meaningless when your target has been floating like an underwater rubber ducky for the past 6 hours. The Henry M. Jackson's last known position was good as of midnight. By now, she could be anywhere within a 50 square mile box. At 0730 hours, 400 miles from Hawaii and approaching the search area, the navigator finally receives the submarine's first communication since diving. The burst transmission lasts exactly 1.3 seconds, just long enough to pass updated coordinates showing the Henry M. Jackson has drifted 4.2 nautical miles northeast of her planned position. Not unusual for a submarine maintaining station without using engines, but enough to completely blow their initial search plan. The crew recalculates their approach, while the radar operator expands his search pattern. The Henry M. Jackson has been deliberately random in her drift patterns to avoid creating any predictable track for adversaries to exploit. Great for operational security, terrible for anyone trying to find her with a cargo plane. Inside the cargo bay, the test package sits secured with basic tie-down straps. 50 pounds of "let's see if this actually works," wrapped in waterproof seals and wearing a Type 4 personal flotation device that makes it look like a box going on vacation. No GPS beacon, no electronic tracking, no sophisticated recovery aids. The simplicity is deliberate. Complex systems fail, but foam floats. At 0915 hours, the radar finally paints what they've been hunting for. A weak, intermittent contact appears right where the submarine said she'd be. Barely distinguishable from sea clutter, but showing the consistent return pattern of something solid riding the swells. The contact disappears for several sweeps as waves wash over the submarine's hull, then reappears stronger as she adjusts her trim. The pilot banks toward the contact while everyone aboard contemplates what they're about to attempt. Nobody's ever tried resupplying a submarine with a strategic airlifter before, and for good reason. The C-17 was designed to deliver tanks to runways, not packages to submarines. But if this works, it changes everything about how submarines operate. However, finding the needle was just step one. Now they had to thread it. At 0925 hours, the C-17 begins what pilots charitably call an uncomfortable descent toward 500 feet above the Pacific. At this altitude, the massive transport stops flying like an aircraft and starts wallowing like a 412,000-pound aluminum whale with control issues. The pilot pulls the throttles back and immediately discovers why the flight manual strongly discourages low-altitude operations over water. The aircraft responds to control inputs like a dump truck trying to compete in the Indy 500. Below them, the USS Henry M. Jackson materializes as 560 foot of black steel cutting through Pacific swells. Her hull, designed to slip through water with minimal resistance, presents a target roughly the width of a two-lane road. Factor in that both platforms are moving, the ocean's doing its own thing, and suddenly, this looks less like a military operation and more like trying to play darts during an earthquake. And it only gets worse from here. Ground effect turns the final approach into a wrestling match with physics. When you fly something the size of a C-17 this close to water, the air compressed between wing and ocean can't escape fast enough, creating unpredictable cushions of lift. 1 second you're descending nicely, then you're ballooning up like someone shoved a trampoline under your plane. The submarine crew has their own problems. Maintaining a precise surface position requires a delicate dance between ballast tanks, trim systems, and just enough propulsion to counteract current without creating a wake that screams, "Submarine here," to any watching satellites. The crew adjusts trim constantly, pumping water between tanks to keep the hull level, while Pacific swells try to turn the boat into the world's most expensive seesaw. Then there's the RIB, Rigid Hull Inflatable Boat, launched from the submarine with 4 sailors, who definitely didn't sign up for this when they joined the Navy. Their 7-meter boat handles the swells well, but positioning for package recovery while avoiding both a submarine and a cargo plane requires the kind of spatial awareness usually reserved for video games. Radio coordination between 3 platforms pushes the limits of what humans can accomplish with voice communications. The submarine passes heading and speed updates every 30 seconds. The RIB crew reports their position relative to both larger platforms while bouncing through swells that make accurate reports challenging. And the C-17 crew calculates approach angles while fighting the aircraft. The pilot discovers that maintaining exactly 120 knots indicated airspeed is like trying to hold a specific number on a slot machine. Too fast, and the package will overshoot the recovery zone by hundreds of meters. Too slow, and the C-17's computer starts screaming about approaching stall speed. Because nothing says bad day like stalling a strategic airlifter over the Pacific Ocean. The sweet spot is exactly 120 knots, plus or minus nothing. At 500 feet, even minor turbulence feels like riding a mechanical bull. The aircraft's fly-by-wire system, programmed for high-altitude efficiency, offers minimal help for this kind of flying. It's like asking a Formula One car to compete in a tractor pull. Sure, it has an engine and wheels, but that's where the similarities end. The submarine passes beneath them on a practice run, allowing everyone to verify timing and coordination. The loadmaster peers through the small crew door window, watching 18,750 tons of submarines slide by close enough to count people. The sight drives home just how precisely they need to execute this. Miss the drop zone and best case, the package is lost. Worst case, you've just proven why nobody's tried this before by dropping 50 pounds of test equipment onto a nuclear submarine. Everything depends on the next pass, when 3 years of planning meets 5 minutes of execution. At 0935 hours, the C-17 lines up for its approach run while the submarine maintains heading 285 degrees at exactly 6 knots, fast enough to maintain steering control, but slow enough to minimize the target's motion. The RIB positions itself 200 meters off the submarine's starboard beam, close enough for quick recovery, yet far enough to avoid becoming collateral damage if things go sideways. The loadmaster takes his position at the crew door, with the test package secured by quick-release hardware that's basically a glorified carabiner. Through the small window, he can see the submarine while mentally calculating drop physics that no computer is helping with. This is seat-of-the-pants mathematics, eyeballing the lead angle needed to put 50 pounds of hope into a moving target zone the size of a basketball court. Inside the C-17, the pilots fight to maintain parameters that feel impossibly precise for an aircraft this size. Airspeed 120 knots, not 119, not 121. Altitude 500 feet, not 490, not 510. Heading must match the submarines exactly, because any crossing angle multiplies the difficulty of an already impossible problem. The flight engineer calls out deviations, while the pilot makes corrections that feel like trying to thread a needle while wearing boxing gloves. As they enter the final approach, the loadmaster performs mental calculations that would make a physics professor nervous. The package will fall 500 feet, taking approximately 5.57 seconds to reach the water. During that time, the submarine will travel about 15 meters forward. The wind will push the package 20 meters east, and the aircraft's forward throw will add another 344 meters to the equation. He needs to release at exactly the right point to put all those vectors together into one successful splash. The submarine reports steady on course, ready for drop, while the rib confirms in position for recovery. The C-17 crew acknowledges while fighting an aircraft that seems determined to do anything except fly straight and level at 500 feet. In 30 seconds, they'll know if the United States military just invented a new way to keep submarines at sea indefinitely, or if they're about to explain to admirals why their brilliant idea ended up causing a submarine to pull into port to repair damage. At 0940 hours, the C-17 enters its final approach as the submarine slides into view beneath them. The loadmaster tracks her progress while his brain processes angles, speeds, and distances in real time. He's done thousands of cargo drops, but never one where missing meant explaining to Congress how he bonked a sub. The loadmaster counts down internal timing. 3, 2, 1, and pulls the release. 50 pounds of experimental optimism is pushed out of the aircraft, beginning its journey toward either validation or an investigation. The package falls with the aerodynamic grace of a cinder block, tumbling slightly as wind resistance fights gravity for control. The pilots maintain heading for precious seconds, everyone straining to see the impact point. Splash! The package hits water approximately 150 meters ahead of the submarine and 1,000 meters to starboard. Not perfect, but well within recovery range. The flotation collar immediately pops the container back to the surface, where it bobs like the world's most important pool toy. The rig crew springs into action, engines roaring as they race toward the target, recover it, and stow the rib. The implications of this test were much more than the U.S. military being able to Amazon Prime a submarine. Subs can stay on station longer, operate in areas without friendly ports, and receive critical supplies without compromising their position. The most survivable leg of America's nuclear triad just got even more capable. Bye for now.